This is Paul, Alpha Alpha 1 Sierra Uniform, and this will be a review of the RANV Field Day VHF Station, the radio amateurs of northern Vermont. This is the Kenwood TS-2000. This is what we're using for the VHF station. We're going to start off on 6 meters, calling CQ on upper sideband at 50.130. And then a quarter after the hour, it's a good idea to check 2 meters and 440. And to do that, right now it is in memory mode. You turn this button on the right, it'll go to 2 meters, 146.55 FM. Then you go to number 3, it'll go to 446 FM. So check there. Also, if you're calling CQ on 6 meters and you get somebody local, like in Colchester, let's say, or Plattsburgh, ask them if they have 2 meter and 440 FM. And if they do, ask them to go to 146.55 followed by 446 FM and try to work them. Now, if you're calling CQ, and that's only if 6 meters is slow, if there's an opening, you don't want to do that. Now, if you want to go to the VFO mode from memory, down here is a button that says memory to VFO. So you push that, it takes it out of memory mode, and now you can search and pounce by turning the dial. And then if you go back to memory mode, just push that VFO/memory, and you'll go back to memory mode. This will be the microphone at the Field Day station, and I'll have some wipes to wipe it down between users. And if you want to use a headset, if you bring your own headset, I will have an adapter there and a foot switch. In case you bring your own headset, you can plug the adapter in and the foot switch and use that. Now, if you want to operate CW, we come over here. Over here it says CW/FSK. It'll go to CW. Probably want to take it out of memory mode. Now we'll push CW again. So now it's in CW. And if you want to call CW, you can go down a little bit below 50.130, but don't go below 50.125 because that's the DX window. The device on top is the interface for digital modes, and it also has a built-in wind keyer, and it does control of the radio. On the left is the CW speed. The next one over is the transmit for digital modes, and then the receive for digital modes. I'll have it set up pretty good when you get started, so you shouldn't have to mess with it. But they're there just in case you notice something's off. Here we have the N3FJP software. Here's the log. Here's where you enter the call sign, his class, and his section. And over here is a little guide to help you with sections, just in case you're having trouble understanding them. For like in number 1, you have all the New England states. Number 6, you have all the California sections, etc. So let's say K for Foxtrot calls us. Then you hit space. And the reason why all that went away is because I have it set up so if you've worked them before, it'll show previous contacts. And let's say he sends 1 Delta Southern Florida. Type that in, hit enter, and it logs it up there. Let's say you want to operate CW. First thing you do is you take the mouse and you click here where it says phone and click on it till it comes up CW. Then you got to go to the rig and push the CW button like I told you before. Now the function keys are set up to call CQ, and the way you bring the function keys up for a little map is you hit Control-Shift-W. I will do that. And up comes a little guide. The first one is CQ Field Day. Well, it says Field Day and then W1NVT twice. The second one says his call and then 2 Alpha Vermont, and F3 says thank you W1NVT. So I'm going to hit F1 and I'm going to make sure I'm not transmitting. By the way, to transmit in CW on the rig, the Vox has to be enabled. I'll show you that in a minute. So the Vox is off. Okay, it loops every 3 seconds, and you might have seen a little box here that shows what's going through. So let's say you hear a station call coming back. We'll just pick up like Whiskey 5 Tango Foxtrot. You hit space, and let's say he sends 1 Echo East Texas. I'm sorry, let's say Whiskey 5 Tango Foxtrot comes back to you. You hit F2 and send our exchange. It'll send his call, then our exchange. Okay, then he sends 1 Echo East Texas. You hit, you type it in, you hit enter, and then you hit F3. So, let's try North Texas. Hit F3, it'll send thank you. There we go. So, and some of the other ones are F4 is our call sign, F5 is his call sign, which is designated by the $sign. F6 is again question mark. F7 is question mark. Then you got 2A Vermont, and then you got 2A Vermont as you go down, just in case somebody wants to fill, you can play around with those. Then if you don't want that box up there anymore, you can just exit out. One other thing I want to tell you is that as you turn the dial, this does not change, which doesn't matter a whole heck of a lot because you're still on 6 meters. But I found a way to make it change. If you press the band up and down button, which I'll show you in a minute, I'm going to go down to 10 meters. It says 29.000. Then I go back to 6 meters. It shows where it is. So there's just an extra step you might have to do. And that's it. Okay, now to operate FT8, this is another option we have. At the bottom, hold the mouse down until this window appears, JT Alert, with a little red musical symbol there. Click on that, it'll open 3 windows. It'll open the main WSJT-X screen, JT Alert at the bottom, and the waterfall. Right now it looks like we have a little opening on 6 meters. Find an opening in the waterfall by right-clicking or typing it in here. So I'm going to go to 1850. I can type it in there, 1850, and then hit the arrow down here so that both transmit and receive are the same. You can also right-click on the clear frequency, set RX and transmit offset is what it says, and you can go there. So you have a clear frequency. So to send CQ, enable the transmit 6 box and hit enable TX. So we'll wait for it to come around. I got the power down to 5 watts. Hopefully nobody hear me because it's going to send CQ Field Day W1 NVT FN34. And there it goes. So it's sending. I'm going to hit halt. So let's say somebody comes back to me like WE1P. I'll pounce on him just like I'm searching and pouncing him. Then I'll hit halt. So I sent 2 Alpha Vermont. So then let's say he sends his exchange. This should go through automatically, but for now I'm going to click over here, log QSO, and it says exchange is missing. That's because I have it set up to log automatically. So I'll click OK, and I'll put in what he sent me. Let's say he sent 1 Alpha Connecticut. So you put, let me turn on the capital locks, 1 Alpha space Connecticut, and here we sent 2 Alpha Vermont. So I'm going to click OK, and it says it logged it. And you can click OK there if you want, or it'll go away. Now if you want to double check it, go down here to N3FJP, bring it up, and here he is. He's logged 1 Alpha Connecticut. So it is in there. So if you're calling CQ and somebody comes back and won't give you their exchange, you can do this. You can go down to TX5 and put, there's a little arrow, and then bring down the next box, Field Day Exchange Please question mark. Click that, click transmit. It'll send Field Day Exchange Please question mark. We'll just let it cycle. So there, now it's sending it. I'll hit stop. So hopefully he will send it. If he doesn't send it, you can't log him, and go back down here and call CQ. And to search and pounce, I kind of basically showed you that. Say somebody's calling CQ Field Day. There's like almost nobody calling CQ here. Well, here's somebody that was calling CQ. Let's say they were calling CQ Field Day. You could click on them. It'll send the exchange, and they will send their exchange. It should populate automatically, and then it should log automatically. So for now, I will just hit again. I hit log QSO. It says the exchange is missing. We sent 2 Alpha Vermont. I'm going to put something in here. So he's in 4 land. Let's say he's 3 Alpha space Alabama. Enter. It's logged. And we can double check it. And here he is, KW4SP 3 Alpha Alabama. So that is how you search and pounce. Okay, going back to the radio for a minute. This is Vox. There's a little light that comes on when the Vox is on. So the Vox has to be on for CW to work. It does not need to be on for sideband because you're probably going to use the switch on the microphone. The other thing I wanted to show you was the band up and down, or this plus arrow and minus arrow. So if I go to plus, it goes to another part of 6 meters, then another part of 6 meters, and then finally to 2 meters. So that's why using the memory is better. But like I said before, if you want to get the frequency to change on the screen to what you're really on, let's see, let's say you're over here somewhere. You can click down to 10 meters and then back up, and then it'll change it on the screen. It's just a feature of running all these 3 together. Sometimes the frequency won't change on the screen. And one more thing about the software. Another thing that doesn't always change is the mode. So if you go back to phone, just make sure you click there and it comes up phone. And another thing I wanted to tell you is you've come up here to operator, click on operator, put in your call sign and the initials whenever you start transmitting, whenever you take over, because that'll populate it over here and it helps us keep track of who's on at what time. There will also be a log sheet at the station, and you need to fill that out as well. So that's the Field Day setup in a nutshell. We invite you to come down to Field Day on Redmond Road on the 4th weekend in June to operate the VHF station for a couple hours. We don't have a set schedule, and we're short on operators, so please come down, operate. You can operate phone, CW, or digital, or a little of all 3. Hope to see you there. This is Paul, Alpha Alpha 1 Sierra Uniform.